So they stole it. Why do you know where they took me? Oh, I want that. Can I have my iPad?
Members of the media, leaders of political parties, both inside and outside of the GNU, and most importantly, you fellow South Africans. It gives me great pride to say to you today that the VAT increase is gone, thanks to the collective efforts of parties that engage the ANC in total good faith. As you have already heard, when South Africans wake up on the 1st of May 2025, Workers' Day, they will pay the same for their goods and services as the day before. This is what Action SA promised from day one, and it is exactly what this collective here today has delivered. This VAT increase has become a symbol to many South Africans who are heartful and want to see change in their country. Today, we celebrate more than just the scrapping of an unjust tax. The reversal of the VAT increase is a victory that belongs to you, the people of South Africa, and to our maturing multi-party democracy. Let us celebrate that you denied any political party a majority and the power to determine budget unilaterally. Let us celebrate now that because of this, no one party can impose their will on you, the people of our country. Let us celebrate how you spoke out against the VAT increase, how your voice was heard by the parties gathered here today. It is with humility that I acknowledge this achievement was made possible by the political parties before you today, who acted on their wishes, unlike those within the GNU who merely claim to fight for you. The parties gathered here today have worked together, both inside and outside the GNU, in the best interest of the South African people. However, as the president of Action SA, let me share our unique perspective and role in shaping of this event. As you know, Action SA is not a member of the GNU. We respectfully decline the invitation in favor of being a constructive opposition. We said then, as we say now, that Action SA will lend its support to the government when doing so to save South Africans without holding that back. And we said that would be the point of opposition spear when a tough opposition is required. Over time, Action SA has become increasingly concerned about the unprecedented budget crisis that has developed under the GNU. Even from the opposition benches, it was clear that our national budget was being held hostage by certain parties within the GNU to negotiate about matters that had absolutely nothing to do with the budget. Action SA respects the rights of parties in the GNU to negotiate. This is, after all, a cornerstone of a healthy coalition. However, one thing must be made clear. At no point can South Africans or their democratic institution be asked to pay for cheap political point-scoring aspirations. As the famous African proverb says, when the elephant fights, it is the grass that suffers. The uncertainty of this budget crisis took place at a time when our markets were already reacting to tariff imposed against our country, while municipalities were meant to be consulting citizens about how budgets would be used for their service delivery. From day one, Action SA's decision to intervene was based on resolving this crisis and removing the VAT increase and no other consideration. There have been no discussion about joining the GNU. There have been no position promised to Action SA. There have been no position sought by Action SA, and that's important to note. When engaged by the ANC's negotiating team, Action SA agreed to end the budget crisis by supporting the fiscal framework in Parliament with the strict condition that the VAT increase must be removed. On this was not negotiable. As ventilated in court papers on Tuesday, the VAT Act of 1991 prescribed that VAT would increase on the 1st of May 2025, irrespective of what transpired in Parliament. This was never a dispute. Parliament effectively had two choices to avoid this. Either amend the framework as proposed by the DA, EFF, and MK, That would have set the already delayed budget back months with the imminent 1 May VAT increase, or alternatively, pass the framework and work alongside other parties to find revenue alternatives to the 13.5 billion arising from the 0.5% VAT decrease. Action SA chose the latter as the only pragmatic option to prevent a 1 May VAT increase, and today that decision has proven to be correct. It was our Member of Parliament, Mr. Alan Besley, who raised the condition for VAT reversal to be placed upon our support for the fiscal framework, which was ultimately adopted by Parliament. In simple terms, Action SA rejected the budget as long as the VAT increase remained in place. Today, our position has been vindicated. Despite this, what follows was a deliberate and well-funded misinformation campaign that misled you, the South African people, falsely claiming that Action had supported a VAT increase. While some continued to play politics, Action SA made extensive submissions of revenue alternatives to the Finance Minister and began a series of engagements with the ANC and other parties. During these engagements, both parties publicly committed to a VAT reversal before the 1st of May 2025. Today, we have witnessed that our objective has become a reality. There will be no VAT increase, not because of any court case that opportunistic parties now seek to falsely claim credit for, but because of principled, good faith negotiations grounded in substance rather than extortionist, unpatriotic, and shamelessly dishonest politicians. It is highly appropriate for me to acknowledge the ANC and the Finance Minister for their role in our negotiations. Our engagements were conducted in total good faith, with maturity, with the best interest of the people of the country in mind. Nobody attempted to mislead or dupe anyone else, as claimed in some media circles. There was an absolute focus on the budget and nothing else. Let me be clear, the reversal of this VAT increase was not achieved by the parties that were here in court on Tuesday. The VAT reversal was achieved by political parties that were willing to put their differences aside and demonstrate the maturity required to find an alternative to a VAT increase. These parties adopted a fiscal framework with the strict condition that a 30-day period would be used to assess revenue alternative to a VAT increase. During this period, we actively participated in submitting alternatives around which engagements were held to explore their viability. The announcement by the Minister this morning and this press conference takes place within the context of that process. It is indeed quite bizarre that opposition parties outside the GNU had to step in and negotiate what a particular political party inside the GNU preferred to pursue through the courts. What bizarre. That is a matter for the GNU to address, not a concern for Action SA. Ultimately, the coalition future of South Africa is based upon political parties with majorities having to work together to achieve positive outcomes for the South African people. As many of you will recall, Action SA used to adopt a position of defining itself against other parties, declaring which parties we would work and wouldn't work with. We have matured since then. We have come to realize that in a world of coalition politics, Action SA must be willing to work with the political parties that can best serve the South African people. Look no further for the benefits of this approach than in our capital city of Tshwane, where Dr. Nasipi Moya and the multi-party coalition government she leads are turning a city that has failed over many years. Look no further than the fact that VAT will not increase on the 1st of May. We made this commitment and we have delivered on it. The reality is that Action SA has achieved more with its 6 seats outside the GNU than much larger parties that have achieved while fighting their own government at the expense of the South African people. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you will know that my grandfather played a critical role and significant role in my upbringing following the death of my father when I was just 2 years old. You have likely heard me share this many times, how he taught me to listen what people say, but to trust what they actually do. It is in this spirit that I can now account to the South African people. First, Action SA stood unwavering in its opposition to the VAT increase from the moment it was announced. Second, Action SA made a commitment to the South African people against all odds that would work to stop VAT increase on the 1st of May. Working with these parties, Action SA has delivered on this commitment. And I'd really like to thank the South African people who were prepared to listen to reason and really listen to sensation. Thank you very much.
Conscientiously, okay? And the best of my ability. Conscientiously.